Hello, everyone. Today our guest is. Shall we cancel and stop again?
I think so.
Can we do that?
Start again.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kitchen's Conversations with Amber. Today, our guest is Svetlana Heneghan. Svetlana has over 5 years of experience in kitchens and bathroom design. She has been working with Amber clients since 2019. This year, she has been nominated for the Kitchen Awards as a Designer of the Year. Hello, Svetlana.
Hi, Inga. Thank you so much for inviting me. Good to be here.
Thank you very much for joining me. That is our first episode, and today we will be talking about 5 top things to think about when designing a kitchen.
Okay, that's exciting.
So, first of all, if I may introduce Amber to our audience, you've been with Amber since 2019.
Yes.
Amber is an award-winning family-run company, and we specialize in boutique and individually designed kitchens and bathrooms. Is there anything you wanted to add about a company?
Well, it's real fun to work here.
As we can see it, being on the StreamYard. So, as mentioned before, we will be talking about the kitchen design and how to approach it and what is the best way to approach it and how we should prepare ourselves. So, first of all, I wanted to ask you, what would be the first step to consider when thinking about a new kitchen?
Okay, I would say start with measuring the space. That's the most important thing when you design a kitchen. Measure width, length of the room, ceiling height, if you've got windows, spaces from window to walls. And don't just measure once. It's very rare that you've got straight, perfect walls, straight level ceiling. It's, again, almost never happens that you've got 90-degree angles. Measure in 2-3 places and pick the smallest dimension, and always allow a little bit of extra when you design your cabinetry, because, well, nothing is more annoying than when it almost fits.
Yeah.
And then you start searching for different solutions and it just never ends up well.
Yeah, especially when you've got this, the wall is not level, and then you allow just for a small panel, and then it fits perfectly at the bottom and it doesn't fit at the top. That's been happening before. So I think that's why taking an allowance and allowing contingency for not perfectly level walls or floors is quite important.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we've got the dimensions in hand and we kind of know the size of the room, what would be the next thing to think about?
There is a so-called magic triangle that we kitchen designers use when designing a kitchen. It's 3 appliances that everybody needs in their kitchen: hob, sink, and a fridge. And you want the minimum space in between the 3 of them because you use all 3 of them when you cook. So you don't want your flow interrupted. Obviously, you might want more appliances. It's always good to create a list of them. But when you design, keep in mind that triangle between hob, sink, and fridge. Obviously, if you work with the existing space and there are already connections there, if they work for you, just keep them. That will keep the cost down. If not, think how you can improve that, and professional kitchen designers can help you with that.
I believe that's quite important for people to realize that if they want to keep the design and keep the layout, that cuts down the cost
Yeah,
for moving the connection, especially the connection for the sink where you need the waste and you need the water,
yeah,
hot and cold, but also if people got gas and want to keep gas hot, it's quite important to make sure that the new connection can be moved.
yeah,
With induction, when it's electric connection, probably gives people a little bit more flexibility. But again, with induction, it's quite important to make sure that we've got the electrical connection over the certain load. So I
yeah.
think it's many things, but as you mentioned, the magic triangle is it very important to make sure that you kind of can move around the kitchen and in an easy way and get easy access to all the like a sink tap, the sink hob and the fridge.
Yeah, unless like me, you can't cook, then this magic triangle turns into Bermuda Triangle. But that's just me.
Oh, not only you, because
No.
to be honest, it's actually myself as well. I'm not
Okay.
I think we're both very lucky having partners and husbands who enjoy cooking and they are very good at it. So,
Oh yeah, thank God for
yeah,
that.
the sink area is actually very important for me as it is I'm OCD cleaner, so that's my part of the job.
Well, keep in mind, you can always get a dishwasher. That's
Oh,
another important
yes.
appliance.
Yes, it is. Yes. So, talking about cooking and enjoying the cooking and using the space efficiently and in an easy way,
Yeah.
what would be the next thing we need to think about? It's probably the kitchen kind of accessories and the functionality of it, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, you create a list of appliances you use. It's also very good to create a list of things you're going to keep in your kitchen, things you use on a day to day basis. If you like exotic cuisines, you might have a lot of spices and you want to create space to store them and also have them accessible when you cook. And there are lots of different solutions. It's always best to have pull outs and drawers because they occupy the entire depth of the cabinet, which makes it much more convenient to use rather than open shelves when you open it and you never reach to the very depth of it. It creates its own universe there, things happen. Pantries are always the best solution if you have space for them. Um, Spice racks on the door of a pantry is very good. If you don't have enough space for big English pantry, there are always narrow pull-outs, which
Yes,
again
they're
help you
brilliant, are
occupy
they?
the entire depth.
Yeah.
And they got adjustable baskets and shelves, so you can create any arrangement you want. As I said, drawers are very good, especially if you use the bespoke kitchen company like yours.
Yeah.
It could be arranged in any way you can find a place for any item you require to use.
And what
Um,
about corners? There is lots of
oh yeah, yeah, lots of
kitchens
mechanisms
usually got the
nowadays.
corner unit. So, uh,
Exactly. If you are kind of a bit unlucky with a small space and you end up with a corner, there are tons of different mechanisms for different prices, so anyone could find their perfect solution.
and they actually extremely helpful because,
Oh yeah,
you don't have to get on your knees and get into the corner. You can just pull it out smoothly and have everything in front of you. And they can be
exactly.
used for dry food as well as pots and pans.
Yeah, and also if you have mobility issues, that would probably be quite a good solution for you. You don't
Of
have
course.
to go on the knees or bend down.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are brilliant.
That's brilliant idea. Okay, so we've got the dimensions, we've got the triangle, and we know what is the layout. We kind of understand how we use the space and what we want to keep in the cupboard, ideally in what cupboard we want to keep what.
Yeah.
So what else should we consider? What are the next steps?
Well, as mentioned earlier, we created the list of appliances we're using.
Oh,
It
yes.
is extremely important to read all the specifications for all the appliances. The minimum distance, for example, from a gas hob to an extractor above it is different to a minimum distance from induction hob to an extractor. Hey there.
Hello, sorry, Pamela, we're recording. Thank you.
Well, these are the perks of the live
Well, that's
streaming.
the way you work from home, don't you?
Yeah.
Give them a task and then they deliver.
That's true.
Yes, so I
Okay.
just thought that I need to put a sign recording.
Yes, that's true.
Sorry
But
about
in
it.
the hospitals, you put a
Yeah.
light on.
Red
Okay,
light.
so where was I? Yep. Minimum distances. For example, cooker taps, instant boiling water taps nowadays are very, very popular. But apart from that being a tap, it actually occupies a lot of space in a cupboard underneath the sink. Always keep
Yes.
that in mind. And tanks vary in sizes. Always check that. When you've got cooking appliances like ovens and hobs, they have different loading, and you want to check the electrical connections you've got, because you don't want to switch your hob on and entire city goes.
Yeah, the fuse box blows up. Yes. So that's
So
quite
there are
important.
lots of nuances there, and it's best to spend some time before you order a kitchen reading those specifications than having a very expensive mistake to fix.
Yes, especially with, as you mentioned, with the loading and kind of connection for that, that may mean that the cable has to be run from the kitchen all the way to your fuse box, and the fuse box could be at the end of the flat or the house,
Yeah.
which means channeling the cables through the living rooms and bedrooms. So yes, that's definitely something people should consider and think about, as well as ask the professionals about their opinion and advice.
Absolutely.
So we've got the dimensions, we've got everything, we know what appliances. Are we ready to go? We ready to kind of go ahead and order the kitchen?
Almost.
Oh.
But hold your horses. Always good to check. For example, you want a large freezer, right? Side by side or American style. And you check the specifications, and you've got the cable for it and the water connection if you've got an ice box. But you have a narrow door and a narrow hallway and a very narrow staircase, and the fridge is being delivered in a large box and left outside of your house, and you're stuck with that, and you can't even fit it in a doorway. Always check access. Don't just measure the room, measure the doorways, your landing, your staircase, entry, angles. It's very important. Most deliveries are curved deliveries, so you don't want to be stuck with a large item which you can't use. Which I actually learned on my own mistakes. We a few months ago got our own first house, and my husband was searching for a desk for his study, and he found this desk which he really loved, and it was on sale, so he got all excited and he's like, I want the desk, and he bought it, and it was delivered, and it didn't fit in the house. So
Oh, gosh.
let me know if you need a desk.
So what happened? Well, there are lots of other solutions. We had a project where we actually had to do it.
There are very
the cherry picker.
Yes, exactly. You can always find a solution, but you always keep in mind that that's extra cost and extra time.
Yeah. And I think in your case, it could be like removing the whole window and bringing it through the roof or something. So
exactly.
But in some of the cases, especially with the kitchen, there are some large items that I think it's quite important to take into consideration. Like you mentioned, is the fridge freezer.
Yeah.
Many people go for the range cookers, which are massive as well, not only big, but also heavy. So therefore, if someone's got the staircases, there are projects where we had it delivered to there, or we booked specifically delivery to be to the site, but specifically to the room. But then they realized there is another set of staircases, and because of the health and safety, they couldn't do it. So we had to actually organize more people and assist them with that. It is something that we need to all consider. One thing also to consider is when you've got a big island and you've got most of the people would like to have a lovely island with one big slab on top of it, so there is no joints, there is no connections. However, that also causes the problem with access, because it's something that you can't bend and twist.
No.
It has to just go in as one. So I think it's definitely really, really good advice to consider, because I think many people get really excited about the kitchen itself, think about, and even if they tick off all those boxes and think about the dimensions and the layout and the appliances, that could be one thing that they forget, and so it could be a really big disappointment and additional cost as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say spend a bit more time preparing before you go for it. It will save you so many expensive mistakes.
I think planning is the key.
Planning.
I do really agree with that. The more time people put into the planning and considering and looking at different options and checking and double checking, it's going to pay itself off. You know, working with the kitchen designers is ideal. It's something that you can use the expertise and knowledge of other people and learn from their mistakes. We've all been there. We've all
Oh
done
yeah.
it. We kind of went through different processes and different projects. So I think it's really important to make sure that we find someone who we can trust and
Yeah, exactly.
put that faith in them and discuss the needs and requirements, so they can deliver. With bespoke kitchens, there is probably more options. At the same time, there is lots of other things to think about. With standard kitchens, you've got a range and limited choice,
Yeah.
but then there may be not as many questions and kind of things to consider, because that's what you have to go with, and that's all. So it
Yes,
may be easier choice.
exactly.
Is there anything else you wanted at this time of the year, and especially this year? Sustainability is a big subject,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's been really important to us at Amber for many years, and we think about it all the time. How does it make? Can we make kitchen sustainable? Can we do something to
Well, we
add to the
definitely have to
environment?
try, that's for sure, and improve all the time. Um, I can think of several things that can be done and are being done, starting with, disposing of your current kitchen. There are lots of companies that resell used kitchens, and it's a very
Yes.
good solution for people who don't want to spend too much money on a kitchen. They can use that. When you order a new kitchen, it's very important the quality of the furniture, the quality of the appliances. Obviously, the longer they last, the more sustainable the kitchen is. The materials you use are very important. And always think long term. What is the purpose of that space? Do you plan to have children? Is it going to be sustainable in the long run? Or do you plan to resell? Lots of questions to ask.
I think longevity of the product is a good way of creating a sustainable project and creating a sustainable kitchen. Fact that we put a lot of work and homework into planning also helps us to make sure that the space is something that we enjoy on a daily basis, that we really want to use, we want to share with our friends and family, and make it the center of the house and the center of the home. So, as this is 5 things to look out when designing a kitchen, let's just recap what we've been discussing.
Okay.
So, first of all, we were talking about dimensions and including allowing some contingency when measuring and making sure we check the levels, especially floor to ceiling if you wanted to have the floor to ceiling cupboards. Second one was the magic triangle, hob, fridge, and sink. Something that it's quite important to make sure that we can freely move around and use the space in the ergonomic and easy way. So now we're also looking at the third thing is the functionality and storage. Lots of solutions. You mentioned drawers, pantry. What else? It was the corner units as well and pull-outs.
Exactly.
And then we've got all the appliances. They're very important. They are fixed. There's something that none of the kitchen designers or carpenter can change. They come as they are, and that's what we need to accommodate. And the last is the access to the space. Of course, we don't want to start ordering everything. Everything arrives on our doorstep, and well, we can't take it inside because the doorways is too narrow, or there is a deep, steep staircase. So that's all. So is there anything else we wanted to add?
Well, frankly, there are lots and lots of things to keep in mind, and more than 5. Shall we keep it for the next episode?
Yes, why not? Why not?
So stick around, people.
There will be more to come. Thank you very much, Svetlana, for joining me today at this session.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I hope we added value and by sharing our knowledge and experience. Please do not hesitate to contact Svetlana or myself at Amber. We will be more than happy to answer any questions and assist you with your planning process. So see you in the next episode. Bye.
Thanks.